here in Santa Barbara County, which we're in northern Santa Barbara County, we had an additional 53 cases reported today, which is not great. And our hospitalizations are currently at 26 with 10 people in the ICU. Total cases we've had since the beginning among Santa Barbara County residents is 32,000. Recovered is like 31,500 some. We've had 436 deaths now. There was an additional death reported today as well. And so this is interesting. Santa Barbara County is, we have Santa Barbara at Montecito. That's where Oprah was interviewing, Harry and Meghan the other day. These very wealthy, Santa Barbara is called the Riviera of California. It's a very wealthy area, but up here in Santa Maria area, this is a working class agricultural town. We have oil fields not far from here as well. And this is interesting. Total cases among Santa Maria residents, 11,206. That's like a third of the entire cases throughout this whole county are right here in this valley. I did early reporting on my website, Political Pain. You can check out politicalpain.com. You can also donate there if you care to. That's the only way I receive any kind of support from what I'm doing here. I'm not monetized yet. But I was covering, we had some of the first deaths in this valley were farm workers. It's very interesting to me that a whole third of the cases in the county are here in Santa Maria. And then total cases among Orchid residents, which is just part of the Santa Maria Valley, is 1,766. So that's almost like, 13... That's almost 13,000 cases just in this valley. And total cases among San Ynez Valley residents, 987. They haven't even broke 1,000. San Ynez is where a bunch of celebrities live. Bo Derek lives out there. David Crosby, Stills and Nash lives out there. Hit some guy who was jogging. He hit him with his Tesla years ago. Also, that's where Neverland Ranch is. Obviously, Michael Jackson doesn't live there anymore. He hasn't been around for quite a while. But anyway, and then Lompoc, another kind of lower income community, very much connected to the Air Force Base, has 3,000 some cases. So very interesting. And I got some comments here. Don't want to ignore y'all. Niall says in their area of Southern California, I heard from idiots that COVID is no big deal anymore. Vaccines mean we can just go back to normal immediately. Yeah, they're wrong about that, and that's why cases are on the rise nationally. We've seen that. Brian Hatter, we have money. When did this happen? I'm not sure what you're referencing. Santa Barbara County has a lot of money. It's just it doesn't all make its way up to the north end of the county. That's how it works. That's long been the case. And J. Andrew World. So am I supposed to beef with Niall, El Kim versus the world because you're J. Andrew World? I don't know. Y'all figure that out amongst yourselves in the chat. But so this is the Santa Maria Times that I'm looking at this stuff, y'all. And here's an interesting thing. Our main kind of hospital here is Marion Medical. Coronavirus created a harrowing year in Marion Regional's ICU. You saw the best in people come out. And they really, I actually just had a client. I'm also a piano tuner. I'm a jackass of all trades, folks. And I just had a client who's actually a nurse over there. And they were telling me all about just what a gnarly year it's been for, the folks working at keeping those infected with coronavirus having serious reactions alive, and in some case having to, pronounce them dead and all of this other stuff. So it's just sad. So let's see. This is interesting. Every time registered nurse Kelly Stedemeyer checks on a patient with a severe case of COVID-19, she must complete a complex gowning process that involves donning a thin blue disposable gown over scrubs, covering exposed skin with extra gloves, placing an air purifier respirator over her face. 10-minute procedure required before visiting patients in isolation is a stark reality that's become routine over the last year. This is by Laura Place. But read a lot of Laura's stuff. She's a good reporter. So, this is quote, the day starts out with a lot of anxiety. When you start with a lot of critically sick people, this COVID course is long and hard, and it's exhausting. And it's a lot of work with the gowning, Stetmeyer said. There's not a lot of victories in the day, but you have to celebrate the little wins, like when someone drops down on medication. Jeez. So it's rough. I mean, this was why we had lockdowns from the beginning, was so that it wouldn't be more than the medical profession, the medical industry in this country, not the medical service, but industry, could deal with. And so, it's been rough on them, and the anti-lockdown people and all the protests, that hasn't been easy on them either, seeing that kind of stuff. But there is hope on the horizon. We have these vaccines, but already, as Niall in the comments was mentioning, people are acting like they can just go back to normal, and I really do not think that that's the case. You just can't, because as soon as you get comfortable, that's when something can happen. And even keep in mind, even if most people are vaccinated, there is the matter of variants, which the vaccines have proven they are effective against the variants, but not as effective as they are against regular old coronavirus. And these variants now are more contagious, and so now the variants are making up somewhere in the range of like 70% of all infections now are these variants that are more contagious. Hey, John Ross, thank you for being here with us, sir. Valor McConnell's here, #Pain Gang. Thank you, everybody. But J. Andrew World says, I hear the Pain Gang are a bunch of sadists. Well, I don't know. If you guys are into that kind of weird stuff, this video might be for you. So I got my first shot of the Pfizer vaccine, and I said it. I said I'd do it, and now I'm doing it. I said I would share video with it of me getting the vaccine. You can see my pale, pasty arms. But, I feel like this is important. Look at me. I'm a chubby, high blood pressure having guy, and I can get this vaccine. This is totally normal. It's not dangerous. It's actually the safest thing you can do. Coronavirus is what's dangerous. So check this out. This is me getting the first shot of the Pfizer vaccine. Hillbilly tan. My wife's filming, so I'm joking around about my hillbilly tan. I'm wearing a Beatles Yellow Submarine shirt, of course.
I won't get you in there if you're not comfortable.
No, that's okay.
So the doctor was super nice guy. His name was John. I thank him at the end. It cuts off as I start thanking him. Look at this, super quick. Barely felt it. Boom, just like that.
Thank you, sir.
And,
Just like that. We're done.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
So I sit out there for what, 15?
15 minutes, please. Yeah, in this area.
And your name's John?
This is John.
Thanks. His name was John, and I was saying, thank you, John. And, I waited out there for the 15 minutes. Didn't really feel a thing. If I'm going to be honest about the whole range of what I went through, didn't really have a reaction in the moment. It was a little different for my wife. She had a bit of a reaction. We think she might have actually had coronavirus. So, you're more. I've read you're more likely to have a more severe reaction, maybe to the first one, if you have already been in contact with the coronavirus. Your body recognizes it, perhaps. And so I just sat there for 15 minutes. Everything seemed fine, and I went along my way. Later, of course, my arm was sore, and the next day I had about an hour where I kind of felt a bit like chill, cold, clammy, a little fevery, weird, not well. But I'd also just been out all day in the sun and probably didn't drink enough water and all of that. So, kind of just like regular. I mean, I really did not have a huge reaction. Now, people who haven't most likely been infected with coronavirus at all, they say that the second one has more of a reaction. My wife just received her second one yesterday, and she actually felt much better after the second one. She's noticing certain things where she just feels better. I have some comments here. Niall says, I'll tell you one thing. Lost my nursing license for my first and only DUI several years ago. I have my revocation letter from Kamala. Whoa, that's interesting. But they had no interest in having me help with COVID. Well, that's interesting. Do with that info what you will. Well, I shared it, and thank you for sharing that with us. John says he's probably going to get the Moderna vaccine, and Niall adds, I feel really bad for all the nurses, and especially the unsung support staff, but they certainly didn't do all they could to meet healthcare needs. Yeah, man, there's a lot of weird, messed up stuff that hospitals have done, and that and Niall's adding, the nursing board is more about keeping nurses under the medical industry's boot than helping nurses or California patients. Well, that's too bad. I hate to hear that. So yeah, anybody have any thoughts on have you received your first vaccine yet? Are you hoping to yet? We just had an update. Governor here in California, Governor Gavin Newsom announced that the vaccine availability is going to open, I believe, on April 1st. Or wait, it's already April 1st. Either it is open already or it's soon to be open for those 50 and older, just everybody. You don't have to have certain conditions. I received it because I'm in the education tier. I work directly with kids as a music teacher, both privately but also at a public facility. And then buddy Brian here in the area getting the Moderna later in April. Good for you. Oh, yeah, and that's the thing is they're expecting it to be available for everybody down to like age 16 or something like that. April 15th, I think, is what I read. So good news all around. Go get your shot, people. You saw me get it. Wasn't a big deal. Gonna go get my second one. My wife's already got her too. And the mRNA thing is really, it's a massive medical breakthrough. It's like a game changer. It's showing effectiveness against these COVID variants. And so it's it's also, I mean, it's fascinating. It kind of like adds into your DNA the ability to recognize the spike proteins in the coronavirus. Now, why is it called coronavirus? Because it looks like a little sun under a microscope, like the coronas of a sun are those spikes, like sun rays shooting out of it. And part of what makes these variants so contagious is that they have evolved, a bunch of them from the different countries have evolved the same variation where a bunch of their spikes are bent at like a 20-degree angle. So now the coronavirus has hooks, everybody. So it was already contagious enough because it's a spiky little virus, and now it's got little hooks on it. So be careful out there. Ken going on both privately, but also one shot with the majority of in the same experience. Good for you. One shot of Moderna. Valor not available, but open to everybody to make an appointment. Yeah. SD San Diego is fairly difficult to get an appointment. I've heard from friends down there. Well, there you go. You gotta, just keep on the website, do what you can. H Words is here. Hello, H Word. I do a ton of COVID reading for my job. H Word says the vaccine is showing to be exceptionally effective at preventing infection of SARS-CoV-2. That is the real name of coronavirus. Thank you, H Word. Is SARS-CoV-2, it's fascinating. A lot of the vaccine hesitancy, skepticism. I mean, you will even hear people who have lip injections or whatever weird what do they call that stuff that they inject in their faces to look young? I don't trust those vaccines. What are they going to put in me? All kinds of stuff like that.